The 10 fragrances on the table behind me all have one thing in common. They were all released this year in 2025. I'm going to be giving you my brutally honest rating of these fragrances from 1 to 10, and also letting you know which ones I think are actually worth your money. 1 Million Golden Oud. This was my most recent 2025 fragrance pickup, and for me, it was a complete blind buy. And I'm just gonna say it right now, if you have basic white boy scent taste like me, you will probably not like this fragrance. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of Penhaligon's Halfeti, but less fresh, and add in a whole bunch more spices and oud. So yeah, they really weren't kidding when they called this thing Golden Oud, because I thought maybe they were bluffing. There was just gonna be a tiny amount of oud, and it was still gonna be that kind of sweet 1 million scent profile. No, they went all in on the Middle Eastern vibes. All in. All in. I will say, although I can admit this is definitely not for me, it smells like a niche fragrance at a designer price tag. Like over here, it's around 200 Australian dollars. If you told me this was a $400 Penhaligon's fragrance, I wouldn't even second guess it, which I think is impressive in and of itself, despite me and the fragrance's personal differences. So if you want a winter going out clubbing scent with a lot of oud, some dark leather and some spices, then this is for you. But if you're like me, then this is not for you. So I'm going to compromise and put this fragrance in the high B tier because I respect what it is. Paco Rabanne kind of went out of their usual comfort zone with fragrances for this release, and I can appreciate that. So B tier for this new release. Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir. This is probably the coolest bottle release of 2025, and it's obviously a trend to go in with the all gold bottles, and I do think that's to capture the attention of like the teenage audience that just want the newest and shiniest thing. I respect it. It's a good strategy. And maybe I'm a 15-year-old teenager now, because I will say when I saw this in store, I instantly bought it mostly because the bottle was gold. But also, Azzaro knocked it out of the park in terms of the scent profile as well. You get a really unique raspberry note up top. It kind of fades in the dry down, which is disappointing, but I love the opening of this fragrance. I think it is the best Azzaro fragrance, at least in the opening, in terms of smell. If you're a fan of the EDP or the Most Wanted Parfum, you will love this smell. It's very familiar, but I think it's a little bit fresher and fruitier off the top, but it also comes across a little bit more kind of mature and gentlemanly than the other Azzaro fragrances. That's a hard thing for them to have achieved, but they have done it with this fragrance. The dry down is much more leathery and darker, so the opening and dry down are very different. I personally love both of them, but some people are only going to prefer one or the other. So make sure you try this fragrance and do not blind buy it like I did. I love this release. I love the opening, the dry down, the performance is solid, and the bottle looks fantastic. I'm just a huge fan, really, of Azzaro, but this release in particular. So for me, it's actually going into the S tier. I was thinking A tier, but then I was like, tomorrow I'm gonna regret not putting in the S tier when I put this on and just realize how sexy it is. S tier for sexy tier. It's going in there. Givenchy Gentleman Society Ambrée, or Ambrée. I got sent this by Givenchy, and it is my only Givenchy fragrance, but I think I picked a pretty good one to start off with, because this thing smells fantastic, and it must be a really underrated release, because on social media at least, I have heard nobody talk about this fragrance, and if they are talking about it, they need to talk louder, because it's insanely underrated. If you're a fan of fragrances like Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, I am almost certain that you will love this, because tobacco and creamy masculine vanilla are the main notes I pick up. You also get kind of like a balsamic richness to the fragrance. Honestly, I do picture like a 30 to 40-year-old man wearing a suit and a tie to like a bougie work function to wear this type of fragrance. Not really my age range. But I also think if you were dressed up enough, if you had the confidence for it, younger guys could still pull off this type of scent and just rake in compliments. I find it sits quite close to the skin, but it lasts 10 to 12 hours. I really love this scent profile. The performance is not the best thing in the world, but I think if you want an underrated and unique tobacco vanilla incensey winter fragrance, this is one to look for. There is a part of me that feels like this is missing something. I don't know what it is. Maybe some sort of spice, a cinnamon note. I don't know. Sometimes when I wear it, I feel like it falls a little bit flat, but at the end of the day, it is just a sexy, mature fragrance, and I really really do like it. So it's still going in the A tier. But most times I wear it, I do feel like it's missing just one note. And I can't quite pinpoint what note it should have that it doesn't. Born in Roma Extradose by Valentino. As you guys probably know, I'm a huge Valentino fanboy. I own pretty much every Valentino fragrance, and this one really stacks up. It is one of the very best, and it has only just come out. It doesn't need a period of growing on me. From the get-go, I was really impressed by this. To me, it kind of smells like a dupe of Born in Roma Intense, also by Valentino, but as the name suggests, Extradose, it's literally just an extra dose of every smell that you get in Born in Roma Intense. Like, it's just fruitier, it's sweeter, there's really no freshness anymore. This is just clearly like a going out, clubbing, compliment beast type of scent. Like, you don't wear this to smell refined and elegant. Fuck no. You wear this to literally just try get attention. And I respect that. I respect it. Performance is ridiculously strong. Like, this is one of those fragrances where you spray it on skin and it is just like, I don't know if you can see, it is just oily as hell for like 3 minutes. I don't know what concentration this is, but it is very strong. It's an addictive scent. It lasts 12 plus hours. A tier. High A tier, just above the Givenchy fragrance. This is a quick reminder to check out perfumeonline.ca if you want to find the best prices on these fragrances and pretty much any fragrance that I talk about in any of my videos. You can go to the link in my description, use code FB5 at checkout, and save yourself 5% off. Already the best prices. One of the least talked about 2025 releases that I think we really need to talk about more is Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Flower Edition. And I think this one got no hype because they released Le Elixir Absolu pretty much the month following this release. And that kind of died any hype down for this fragrance. And also the scent profile isn't super unique, but I think it does what it's trying to achieve really well, which is just a super uplifting, sweet, fruity citrus fragrance that kind of brings you into like that beach and tropical resort type of mindset. Like, this is a transportative? Like, when you wear it, you instantly picture yourself in Fiji. That's what this fragrance is. I remember when I first unboxed this with Noel Thomas on the beach, we both tried it for the first time, and he had done his research and knew that there was a note called kumquat in this fragrance, and I thought he was just trolling on video, but no, apparently it's like a type of orange which gives it that fruitiness. It's very sweet. It's synthetic, just like Le Beau and Paradise Gardens, but you're not buying a Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance to smell natural anyway. So I think it does what it's trying to be well. It's not the greatest release ever. It probably won't get more hype again, but I think it's solid. For me, it's a high B tier fragrance. There's not enough going on for it to be A tier or S tier, but it's still nice. And I think it doesn't deserve any hate. Okay? I appreciate you. I want you to know that. I appreciate you. Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Elixir Absolu. This is the fragrance that overshadowed Le Beau Flower Edition. And honestly, I think it's because of the way it was marketed. Le Elixir was so popular, and the fact they came out with an even shinier and more gold bottle, it's just playing into our minds. It's just mind fucking us. We just want the shiniest and the blingiest new thing, and these companies know that, and they are exploiting us, essentially. But I'm all here for it, and I will buy it every single time. This is so similar to the original Le Elixir. It's just smoother, slightly less synthetic, and you get a unique plum note, which they were really conservative with. You get like kind of hints of that fruitiness in the dry down, which is nice, but this is close enough to Le Elixir where I would call you an idiot if you felt the need to buy this after already owning the original Le Elixir. I'm sorry if I'm sure there's someone watching this that has done that already and they're just feeling called out right now, and I just want to say it's okay. I've wasted my money on fragrances too. I have 3 bajillion of them. It's okay. There's no complaints with this fragrance. It's nice. It is better than the original Le Elixir, but again, for another $200, I wouldn't suggest buying this if you already own it. I'm gonna put this one in the low A tier because yeah, I do really like wearing it. It's smoother, it's fun, it gets compliments, and I like the shiny bottle. I know, it's sad, but I do. Up next is a 2-for-1, and that is Gucci fragrances from their The Alchemist collection, which I consider like the Gucci private line equivalent to, you know, how Dior and Versace have private lines. These ones go for about 600 Australian dollars each. I would never have bought them with my own money. Gucci actually sent them out to me, but if you had seen my video reviewing these, I roasted them to ashes. The one I particularly roasted was Vanilla Frenzy, and I've seen mixed reviews for this online, and this was a scrubber for me. As soon as I sprayed it, I just wanted to hop in the shower, because something about this does not sit well with my tummy. Like, it makes me feel genuinely sick. It's a very sweet, almost like plasticky vanilla. Like, to me, it kind of smells like plastic. I don't really want to talk about this one too much. You can go try it if you're interested. I'm just telling you, it is one of my least favorite vanilla fragrances that I've ever tried. I believe in that TikTok video, I rated this a 6 out of 10, but I think I was being too nice, because since that video, I like it less and less each time I smell it. Ozanthus Nectar, though, is a super unique fragrance that I'm still trying to work out if I love or just think it's okay. It has a very strong apricot note, which you don't really see with fragrances. It's fruity, but floral at the same time. I don't know what season this would be best to wear in. It is just such like an interesting fragrance. Like, it just confuses me. And it's really green as well. Like, it smells like grass mixed with apricot. Like, it's pretty cool. It's a cool artistic fragrance. I respect Gucci for trying something like this and selling it. B tier? B? I don't know. B tier. I realized I forgot to rate Vanilla Frenzy, but if you guys hadn't already guessed, this is going in the D tier. And I think this is actually one of the very first fragrances I have ever put in the D tier doing a tier list video, which is a pretty big deal. If this didn't cost $600, it would probably be in the C tier, but the fact it's so outrageously expensive and I think it smells this bad, it deserves the D tier for doo-doo, the doo-doo tier. One of the brands that is quickly coming up in terms of popularity and even quality of their new releases is Hugo Boss, and this is Boss Bottled Absolu, one of my favorite designer fragrances of all time already. And I actually think it came out at the very end of 2024. So this is kind of a clickbait video, but I'm counting it as 2025 because that's when I bought the fragrance. And it's my video. So frick you. It's kind of interesting. This reminds me of Parfums de Marly Carlisle, but made like even more mature and classy smelling, because Carlisle has that creamy like nutmeg vibe to it. This one is a more dry fragrance, I find. It's very incensey, but it has like an addictive quality to it that still makes this quite wearable, because you would think Carlisle would be more wearable if it has that creaminess, right? No. I find this much more wearable than Parfums de Marly Carlisle, and I find myself reaching for this one more than that fragrance. Just like 1 Million Golden Oud, I find this has a lot of niche qualities. If you blindfolded me and I'd never smelled this fragrance before and you said, Finn, give me the estimated price point of this fragrance you're smelling right now, I would probably be like, that's a niche fragrance, probably in the $300 to $350 price point. And then they'll go, no, it's actually a Hugo Boss fragrance that you can buy on discounters for $120 freaking dollars. Really amazing release. I'm actually going to put this one in the low S tier. Again, it's not the most wearable thing ever. There's going to be a time and a place, probably when I'm dressed up and going somewhere fancy, but I really appreciate it. And I think it is one of my favorite designer fragrances of all time in the short time that I've owned this. If you are a fellow Aussie and want to try any of these new releases without having to go in store, go to fbfragrances.store on Google, which is my sample site. I decant fragrances here in Australia, and you can use code FB10 at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. Stronger With You Parfum. This is the oldest brother of the Stronger With You line. Intensely's the youngest. He's outgoing. He's kind of immature. He doesn't know a lot about life yet. Absolutely is the middle child. He's a bit more years of experience behind him. He's kind of trying to become more mature, but there's still that kid inside of him. But Parfum is the fully mature and grown up older brother that is just down for business. No messing around. I get a leathery vibe, I get some smokiness, but it's still very mass appealing. And importantly, it's very strong, just like Intensely and Absolutely. But in my opinion, it's even stronger than those two fragrances. I get 14 hours longevity with very strong projection. Any more than 4 or 5 sprays, I get headaches because the smokiness, the richness, the leather, it's just too much. Like, I cap this at 4 sprays. Do I like it more than Intensely and Absolutely? No, I don't, but I think it's still a very good release, and I don't think it's redundant to own this if you have Intensely, but you also want something a bit more darker and mature. I think having Intensely and Parfum, you would get good use out of both the fragrances. This one is really solid. I'm going to put it in the low A tier. It's not something that I wear a lot, but I think Stronger Du Parfum, the expectations were up here for the fragrance, and I think they met those expectations, which is a really difficult thing to do. The final fragrance that has been released in 2025 that I personally own is Khamrah Dukhan. I did a fully dedicated video reviewing this fragrance, so if you've already seen that, there's going to be some overlap with what I'm about to say, but essentially, if you already have the original Khamrah, this is pretty redundant to own, because for the first half an hour, I really can't tell any difference between these two fragrances. And then in the dry down, it transitions to like 10% more smoky, more masculine, and less gourmand. So it doesn't smell quite like an ultra-realistic edible dessert like the original Khamrah does. It smells more like a well-balanced fragrance, which I like. Khamrah Kawa is still my favorite Khamrah, and it's my favorite Lattafa fragrance ever. This one is close behind, but it doesn't quite get there. I kind of wish they made this a little bit more different to the Khamrah DNA. I think they played it a little bit too safe in my opinion, but it's still a really nice release. You can't really go wrong with Lattafa. It's a high B tier fragrance for me. If they had kind of experimented a bit more, added something a bit more unique, this could be A tier, but they fell just a little bit short in my opinion.